good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So, I'm looking here, and there is a hell of a headline that has just came out, and I'm telling you, the news today is a flowing. I mean, there is just nonstop ton of news today. However, I want to talk about this one article in particular that RT had just came out with just shortly ago. And, well, I'm just going to take you right on over. And it's titled, U.S. is not invincible, says Iran. Now, that's not anything unusual for them to say. But what's concerning this time is he is directly referencing the Iran hostage crisis, which I remember. I was a little kid at the time. I remember when Reagan took over power. I remember when he said we don't negotiate with terrorists, and he went in and he kicked ass and he brought those people home. I remember that very well. That's, as I was telling Jen, that's probably the strongest that I had ever known our nation to be, was at that particular time in history. I think we were the strongest nation in the world at that time, and I also think that that was the last time that we were the top of the chain. We were the top in a lot of stuff in the 80s. We really were. I mean, we were doing well, and then unfortunately, in just about every way you can imagine, we were sold out. The country was sold out. So, anyway, back to the article. It says the U.S. is not as invincible as it might seem. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei told students on Wednesday ahead of what is called the National Day of Fight Against Global Arrogance, celebrated on November 4th. Some think that America is an untouchable power, but if we look at the events of this day, talking about November 4th, it turns out that no, it is completely vulnerable, Khamenei said, referring to the 1979 U.S. Embassy takeover, which was carried out by a Muslim student movement. A total of 52 U.S. diplomats and their family members were taken hostage in the incident and were only released 444 days later on January 20th, 1981. So, that is what concerns me about this particular comment. It's, it's not unusual for them to speak against the U.S., and in a lot of cases, I understand it. I mean, I put myself in those shoes. I mean, I'm not an opportunist. I try to consider all the positions, and I get it. I get why they don't like the United States. Fully understand it, both on on every level, on a religious level or spiritual level. However, on a government level, on about every level that you could imagine, I get it. I understand it, and I respect their right to be sovereign, as long as they aren't harming people outside of their own country, as long as they aren't being cruel to their own people. Who the hell am I to say? But that's me, and I know I'm in a very, very rare crowd when it comes to that mindset. It does concern me that he's talking about the Iran hostage crisis because, man, not only was that probably our strongest point in history, but that was probably the only time that they really had a show of strength. I mean, if you think about it. I don't know. I would just, I would say keep my eyes open. Most certainly. Bringing up that is a very deep wound. And it concerns me that maybe they've got something in the works. So, anyway, I just thought I would bring that to you. I'll link the article in the description of the video as usual. And we shall see you later, hopefully, for the live show. Shalom.